pull up what the Bengals, who the Bengals 2024 opponents are.
Okay.
I want to talk about that for a second before we jump into questions. Give some people opportunities to drop questions in the comment section before we jump to all of it. But yeah, like pull up what our 2024 Bengals schedule are. And the reason why I'm having him pull this up is because I want to know what matchup you're looking forward to the most. The one thing I have to ask for schedule makers, please, for the love of God, can the Bengals not open up the season with a divisional opponent?
Right. Or the first 3 weeks.
Please.
Right.
I'd appreciate that. I think that'd be very nice. And
yeah.
So read to me off the opponents.
All right. Our home opponents this year, obviously you got all the divisional games, but then you have the Broncos, the Raiders, the Eagles, the Commanders, and the Patriots. Those are all your home games.
Right.
Your away games, again, all the divisionals. But then we go to Dallas, Kansas City, the Chargers, the Giants, the Panthers, and the Titans.
Right when I hear that, obviously Kansas City is always Kansas City, but there's a game. I don't know why the Chargers, they match up well with us. I don't know why.
It's going to be interesting to see how they change their identity with Harbaugh at the helm now.
Yeah. I expect a run heavy approach.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Run heavy approach.
Imagine losing AJ Green and T. Higgins and passing up on Jamar Chase, and that's basically what happened there at the 5th pick. So when he committed to the offensive line, which again, nothing wrong if in that scenario you've got the Penny Sewell, but it's just imagine losing 2 of your greatest receivers in the last 10 years or so. The Chargers have kind of struggled to find a mainstay at receiver in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, though as much Mike Williams was in and out of the lineup when he was healthy on the field, he was very, very productive. So yeah, that imagine losing T. Higgins and AJ Green in one season, and then you pass on Jamar, which again, I love Ladd McConkey. I think that was a good pick. Just go off on a little tangent there. I made that comparison talking about the draft the other day.
Yeah, man. Man, when I look at this thing, man, I'm looking at the Bengals right now, man, and this might just be like me looking in like a sort of a vacuum, but I genuinely don't know how they don't do it this year. Like I understand health is a big part of this thing.
Always. Yeah.
And can you stay healthy is the question, but you do have that that last place schedule, and you have to be able to take advantage of it. You know that listen, let's call it what it is, though. Let's call it what it is. If you're in the AFC North, there's no such thing as a last place schedule, right? Every game is a gauntlet. Every game is, you've got to step up to the plate. Every game is tough, right? And we're talking about a team who had 1 win in their entire division last year. And to be honest with you, it was a throwaway game, right? Not what you like to see, not conducive for success, not ideal, not to be repeated. It's the same thing that we said before when the Bengals, they would start the season off slow. Then they would make a rally and they would win a bunch of games. We said, we saw them do it before. And then they did it again, and they didn't do it this time. And so it's one of those things where this is the same thing for me. It's the same thing. Think about it this way. The Bengals lost almost every single game in the division except for one, and they still were in the playoff hunt.
Yep.
That's not a recipe that is sustainable. That's not a recipe that I would recommend. That's a recipe that I would say, hey, Bengals, win your division. Cut grass at home before you cut your neighbor's grass.
Yeah.
You can't worry about the AFC. You got to worry about the AFC North. I'll simplify it again. We might have let the AFC championship appearances, the playoff wins get to our head, but rule the jungle, rule the North, rule the AFC, win the damn Super Bowl. It's really just that simple. But if you take care of things on the home front first, then wow, you're making life a whole lot easier for yourself, in my opinion. Listen, I'm not some great philosopher, but I just think it's very simple. You draft to beat your division, right? That's what you do. They felt they had a hole at the safety spot. So you know what they said? They said, Von Bell, our good old friend, let's bring you back. They said, Geno Stone, you're an up-and-coming safety. You have these tendencies and these intangibles. You have these things about you, these qualities that we think could make a really standout free safety that Lou loves in his over-aggressive defense, if you will, at times. Let's bring in that guy. Let's steal him away from the AFC North. And I know the guy is good because everybody in the Ravens community were pissed about it. Yeah. So they did those things. You add to the cornerback room. You add to the defensive line room. You keep your linebackers the same. So no real move to really upgrade the linebacker position told me one thing. this isn't just from the talks I've had, but this told me one thing. They don't believe that their linebackers were the issue.
Yeah.
They believe the linebackers were over communicating, trying to make up for a lot of people's inabilities, if you will. So we bring in the position groups that we think we need more juice at. We bring in the spots where we think that we can, use a little bit more oomph at, if you will. You get that? And the rest is history. But I'm talking about this, and I'm being passionate about it because it's true. You've got to win in your division. You've got to win in your division. We're looking at it and we say every single year, the Bengals should beat the Cleveland Browns. Mm-hmm. But you know what was the one caveat to that, guys? It was, oh, crap. Remember, they have a guy who's one of the best pass rushers in football in Myles Garrett. Who's going to block him? Well, guess what? You told the fan base, you said, well, we went out there and we signed Trent Brown Jr. He's one of the better right tackles, if healthy, in the league. Then we doubled up. We drafted a guy in Amarius Mims who is probably going to play if Trent Brown can't stay healthy. We already got Orlando Brown Jr. And all those tackles have the same thing in common. What's that? 6'8", 340 pounds, mountains, massive human beings. Guys, you can't just bully. Okay, so with that thinking, with that thought process, right? You're telling yourself that you corrected that issue. So when you go up against elite pass rushers in your division, guys like Myles Garrett, guys like TJ Watt, you say we got an answer for you. That's what you say. At least that's what I think. So when I look at what the Bengals have on the horizon as far as their schedule, take care. I don't give a rat's ass about rule the AFC. Let's rule the North and rule let's do that. Let's do that first.